0.
Wow. Well, that took a long time, didn't it? Faffing. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. And tonight's stream, we're just going to be talking about everything, it seems. I had a few comments, so we're going to talk about that. I don't know what the audio's like. So I can't really fix that. I don't even know what the quality's like. I don't even know what the quantity's like. So I'm just going to stream this and hope for the best. So, yeah, I've done a video which I haven't uploaded yet, which is top 6 best albums. Did that last night when I was in bed. How dare you rant about Limp Bizkit? I will have you for crumbs. Well, tell you what. I love Limp Bizkit, but they just did one terrible album. I mean, there are things about Limp Bizkit that we could whinge and moan about, okay? It's like Nickelback, so I might do a video, Nickelback versus the Bizkit, okay? The one thing that pisses me off about Limp Bizkit is there's a guy on Sound on Sound a few years ago, and it was in the Fixing It in the Mix article. And he said, right, it was a mixing engineer, and he said that Limp Bizkit's records were the most difficult to mix because the snare, there was always issues with the snare on how they mic'd the snare. Another issue that they had was because Limp Bizkit wanted one of their snares on one of their tracks layering. Now, this mixing engineer had done some work for Slipknot. If you read, he says in Slipknot, all he had to do was adjust the levels on the bass on the snare. But I'm going to tell you this, my friends. There is no such thing as fixing it in the mix. There is not. There really isn't. If you've done something bad in the recording process, you can't put it right in the mixing process. For heaven's sake. It's like it's like the dinner ladies used to say, when we used to say, "Miss, can you separate the fruit from the cake?" And she used to say to us, "I can't separate the fruit from the cake because I'm not Houdini." It's the same thing. You cannot fix it in the mix. You cannot take away the crap from the you cannot take away the crap from the cream. If they've recorded it bad, they've recorded it bad. This is where engineers need to give it back to them and say, "Going back into the studio, record your shit again." Oh, sorry. I'm sounding like Spectre Sound Studios now. But really, this is the thing, okay? Someone was saying about autotune as well. You know, autotune's a good thing, isn't it? It is on some music. Now, autotune's great where it's needed, but autotune on, like, Axl Rose can sing for on his vocals. I mean, you know, it's just, oh dear, oh me. You forgot the, someone saying you forgot the Puddle of Mud albums. I will. Do you know I'm going to do a top 5 albums that just be left on the shelf because the second album was appalling. The first album was great. The second album wasn't. Can't stand an Alanis Morissette. Well, neither can I. And so I don't listen to her. Yeah. And there's one thing that I'm doing a video about, like, top 6 difficult albums. You got to remember, an album will sound bad when a record label is pushing that artist, you know? Come on guys, you must do an album. Come on guys, you must do an album. Come on guys, you must do an album. You promised us that you'll do an album. You promise you'll do an album. Come on guys, get in there. Do an album. Or if you're Oasis, you should have taken a break while you're going in there doing an album. And Noel, in Noel's interview, he completely states, you know, why did I go in there and do an album? You know, well, it was two things. Yes, you were pushed to do another album, but yes, you weren't pushed to do another album. You know? Metallica, when they did, what album was it that I mentioned? When they did Garage Inc., it wasn't a bad album. It's like Metallica having sick jams. And they did some good cover songs. But it's not really, you know, maybe one or two songs that should be put on a compilation. But I think the record label said, go in the studio, have a sick jam, it'll sound good. Yeah. When will you do a top 5 decent cover albums? Yeah, I'll do that. But to be honest, I've only ever heard quite a few decent cover albums. So I'll have to... see, cover songs are difficult to do. Now, Motorhead, they're very good at doing cover songs because they pick the bands that they could do, that they could cover and cover really well. And I think that's the thing. And also, some of the songs were better. They were better. You know? Cradle of Filth covered an Aussie song, made it really good. Here's the thing, right? If you cover a song and make it better than the original, then my gosh. You know, that stops you from doing a covers album then, doesn't it? You know. But I had to put that covers album in the list. But when they came to do albums like Injustice for All, which I think I will put on the list, they were covering for... they were grieving for Cliff Burton. And I didn't think they had enough chance to grieve. You get a bit pissy. The Injustice for All album. But yeah. Stephen, you missed out Animals as leaders. Well, I don't have them in my music collection. If I did, I probably would get rid of a couple of their albums. There you go. I think though, and this is something that I have to say, the genre rock music, you know, even the crap bands, you know, I mean, Nickelback is a prime example. They did Silver Side Up, which was a rock album. It was a rock album. Yes, there was a power ballad on there. They could write power ballads, you know, but it was a real good song. There was some good storytelling. He wasn't overdoing his voice. He wasn't overdoing things, you know. Chad Kroeger can sing, you know, good power ballads. He did the Spider-Man song. There was a few other ballads that he did, you know, solo. But a rock singer, and I know what I mean. You know, when he's trying to do sort of like Tina Turner, White Snakes kind of stuff, his vocals are quite fat. So, you know, for me, the good Nickelback songs are all on the Silver Side Up record. Silver Side Up was a good Nickelback album. There was a lot of rock fans. In fact, you know, you could call it pop metal because there was a lot of people that weren't metal fans that I knew that had the Silver Side Up record in their collection. But it was a rock record, and there's a lot to say. But I think if Nickelback were going to do anything new, you know, Elton John in his later work, Elton John actually put out a really good rock album, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really good rock album, and it's the only decent album that Elton John wrote and did. Sir Elton John, sorry. But you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? But this is the thing, you know, when you listen to a lot of rock music, you know, like Billy Joel, I just want to put this as an example. Billy Joel was more of a how can I put this? He was more. Billy Joel was ballads, but there was this one record, two records he put out on, was it Glass Houses, where he used a raunchy rock voice. He put the sawdust into his voice. You hear those songs? That's a rock vocal. And so Chad Kroeger, somebody should be saying to Chad Kroeger, they should be going, hey man, I like your first album, you need to do something more like your first album. Now they did do another good record, which was after, you know, which was quite late on. But why did they need to do a really good rock record? It even had heavy riffing on it, you know? But really, Nickelback, what's wrong with you? And this, I'm talking as a listener. I'm talking as somebody who would get home and put that CD in my player. Now, Silver Side Up was a good record. There are a few skippable tracks on it, but that can be forgiven. You know? But I don't know what Nickelback tries to do or it doesn't try to do. But, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Someone was saying in the last video about you never mentioned Ozzy Osbourne's. Yeah, Ozzy always did good stuff for me. I understand when Randy Rhoads left, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm never going to be an Ozzy fan. I've spoke to those people. Have you? Yeah. Oh, Randy's gone. But Oz got some good guitar players. You know? Zakk Wylde, he kills those tunes. You know? I tried listening to that, and unfortunately, Slipknot have gone, like Vol 4 was a poppy album. Slipknot kind of went a bit light on us. But Vol 4 was a really good album. But it wasn't anything like Made, Feed, Kill, or it wasn't, it wasn't Iowa.
Prism Live. BT Com Top Minu Morglow 46x46.
What the hell's going on? What the hell's going on my stream, people?
Empty lit. End. 0. 16. 30. BT Com Top Minu Flip Camera Glow.
I really can't see what's going on.
BT Com Top Minu Morglow. 17. 6. BT Com Top Minu Morglow.
It seems to be alright. We seem to be okay. I would know if I was. Ozzy writes good. See, the thing is, Ozzy was better solo than he was in great. Well, he sang some great Sabbath stuff. He didn't write any great Sabbath stuff. Except for his later work. But yeah, I think Ozzy got the chance to shine on his own. He wouldn't have been able to write in Sabbath his ballads, his crazy style. Even the stuff on his new album. Ozzy's the kind of guy who wanted to go out of his comfort zone and do work with hip hop artists and work with Elton John.
MyFitnessPal. Now, you haven't logged your dinner for today. Would you like to do it now?
So, that's the thing, I guess. Whereas in the old days, Sabbath would have said, no, you're not doing this. You've got to pull this way. But, yeah. Ozzy, didn't he sing a ballad in Sabbath? Yeah. Well, that was the rumour. Oh, he wrote a crap song, so he got thrown out for it. I liked the arrangement on that tune. Yeah. Anyway. Somebody asked me the other day, because they know about my imaginary friends and stuff. Had any imaginary friends that are demons? Yes, I have. It was in the dream world, but it was called and of course everybody rubbed it off for years until I mentioned to Mummy one day that had literally thrown me across the room and put me on, I landed on my toy box in the night. And I just thought, you know, I had to draw the line underneath that. And when we said, well, if you were told properly, I would have fully understood. And this is now, we have that argument, but it's like, because imaginary friends, because they're made for you. And this is where imaginary friends, not all imaginary friends are imaginary. I'll do a video because my Asperger's syndrome, and I'll do history, and I'll talk about the dark side of imaginary friends and stuff just for a video. Mainly from my podcast. I know you are about R. I think I made something else about R as well, but yeah, that's the dark side to my imaginary friends. And imaginary friends aren't all they're not all unicorns and cupcakes. Honest there. It's also a non-spiritual thing, but it's also a spiritual thing. I mean, I think the Catholics have an amazing... Oh dear. Oh! But seriously though, right? The Catholics, they have tulpas in their church. The saints are real. The saints in the Catholic Church, they're living. The statues are real. But I'll do a video about the Catholic Church another day, because imaginary friends, ghosts can be imaginary friends, demons can be imaginary friends, well, demons can be anything. There you go. That's an answer to a big question. Demons who make themselves into imaginary friends. When I was at my nan's house in there was some people in the hallway. I didn't know who they were. I used to push past them. Soldier. The soldier was quite protecting. He followed me round. For a bit. But the lady upstairs, who everybody knew about, and the rats that weren't there. Now, I luckily never experienced anything bad. But they're the only two things that Did you say like one night you heard something? But here's the thing as well. The dream world, which can be the imaginary world. Now, if you're an animator, asking yourself all the time, you know, this portal that I would like to visit. When you create your own world or you create your own reality, you have to know there's a dark side to everything, and that dark side is dealing with reality. It's not just about a faceless man in the wardrobe or I mean, when I was, I'm going to say this word very kindly.
Sean.
Off. No, I'm doing a video. Please don't ring me. There you go. You've heard it loud and clear. Hang on, what time is it? There we are. So, who cares? Yeah, I mean, I've probably met with a lot of ghosts. Imaginary friends, I don't know. It's not. It's as well the dead and the living, you know, the ghosts, whatever. It's like recycling almost. Can we recycle people's spirits and make imaginary friends from the spirit world? Something. There is nothing that says we can do that. But your imagination will protect you one day. No matter what you're doing. Imaginary friends that bother people psychologically, but then it's like spoken to people about these things and they're like, you've made me talk about it all over again. I'm like, you know, think I did make a couple of, but they never did anything harmful at the time. I mean, I will tell you a story. I don't know if it was a tulpa or not, but before we left our old house, somebody said that they could see one of my imaginary friends on the top of the stairs. Ooh. Now, I never described my imaginary friends look like to anybody. It was me they wanted or me they were after. And I was like, okay. So maybe it was somebody, it might have been a ghost that was there, and it would have been imaginary to me. It wasn't. I mean, none of my imaginary friends, relatives or anything, that's never happened, unfortunately. Not to my knowledge.
Enjoy this.
I mean, I've never had my imaginary friends hurt me or anything, you know. That's always been self-inflicted. But no, never had any. Didn't something happen like in the middle of the night where? No, that didn't happen. But anyway, I can't think anything off the top of my head. I never had any dead relatives. But something and they. Oh yeah.
You want your thing out now?
Yeah. I'll get it out. That's a good place to end the live stream, I guess.
You're not alright.
Oh, sorry, I'll get it out now. Hold on.